Good day. It's JJ MMA. Today we are going to be breaking down the MVP Rousey versus Carano card. And this is a pretty good card put on here by Jake Paul. I don't, I didn't know anything originally about a lot of the guys in the prelims except for Muhammad Mokaev, Adriano Moraes, Jason Jackson's on the prelims. But yeah, I did some tape study and I figured out some things about them. Oh, and Alex Pereira's sister is also on this. Yeah, Alex Pereira's sister is here too. But yeah, I mean, pretty decent card put on here by Jake Paul. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what this card is going to perform like, what it's going to look like. Like what are these fighter kits just going to be like custom shorts like the old UFC where there was like 50 sponsors on the trunks? But I don't know. I'll be interested to see what it looks like come Saturday. Start us off in the early prelims. I guess not the early prelims. I guess all of its prelims. Wait, shit. Roll to the top. I'm locked. I'm locked up here. All right. Okay, we're back now. Yeah, I guess it's just the normal prelims. So yeah, to start us off, we got Chris Avila versus Brandon Jenkins. I mean, both of these guys are not very good. Both of these guys actually did have their stints in the UFC. I think, yeah, they both fought as welterweights. Chris Avila lost to Artem Labov. So that's not a very good loss to have on your record. Yeah, I think both guys are 0-2 in the UFC. Brandon Jenkins did get finished both times, but by slightly better opponents. Actually, a lot better than Artem Labov, considering Artem Labov is 14, 15, and 1. I'm impressed that I remembered that, but Brandon Jenkins got finished by Rong Zhu and Drakkar Close. So pretty decent opponents he got beat by. He's kind of worked his way back up since his stint in the UFC. He's strung together some wins. Um, and yeah, he is at a half-inch reach discrepancy, but I don't think it's going to matter here. After all, Chris Avila is 8-9. But yeah, I mean, this is the type of fight that's going to be a sick fight. Like, I'm sure both these guys are going to come out here and strike. They're going to put on a fun performance, the both of them. Yeah, I see Brandon Jenkins. I see Brandon Jenkins winning this one by knockout. Probably the first or second round. Yeah, it would be pretty disappointing to take this guy over here to the second round if you're Brandon Jenkins, considering that this guy lost to Artem Labov. But I mean, yeah, that's what I think. We move on to Aline Pereira, Alex Pereira's sister, and yes, this is actually Alex Pereira's biological sister, versus Jade Mason-Wong. Um, Masson-Wong. I don't know how you say it. I don't know much about either of them. I do know something about Alex Pereira's sister. She's had some karate combat fights. Both of her wins are decisions, so she does technically she does like to go to decision a lot. Um, she's got one more fight of experience. I don't know at all who Jade Masson-Wong is. No disrespect to her. Um, you know, Aline Pereira has a 7-inch reach advantage on her, and I think that's a pretty big reach advantage to have. Aline Pereira has been training with Alex Pereira, Glover Teixeira, and Yusri Belgari in them. So, yeah, I mean, I would think that she has pretty good striking. So, and I have actually watched some of the tape, and she does have pretty decent striking. She doesn't quite have that Pereira finesse, or not. I guess not finesse, but like that weird awkward, like the awkward rigidness that'll like get to you with the left hook and the calf kicks. Like she's not like the actual Pereira level striking. Just so you guys know. But yeah, she is quite crafty, and yeah, I'm gonna pick her to win this. She's pretty big, especially for 124. She is a big woman, so yeah, I think that she'll win this fight. Probably, yeah, decision. I'd say she wins a decision. And yeah, we move on to David Mgoyan versus Albert Morales. Oh my God, there's a Moraes and then there's a Morales. These Brazilians really need to make up their mind. But anyways, I think Albert Morales is actually American. But without further ado, David Mgoyan, he had a fight on Contender Series, and that was an absolute war with Tommy McMillan. And I think he should have been signed off that because, it was a very close fight. He almost had Tommy McMillan out with a guillotine that was very much so locked in. Yeah, and Tommy McMillan, he did a good job escaping it. He outdogged David Mgoyan in that fight. But yeah, I mean, David Mgoyan's won every single fight except for the Tommy McMillan fight. And Tommy McMillan, he's going to be pretty good in the UFC. I think he's ranked material, if he sharpens up his fight IQ. So, I mean, regardless, David Mgoyan, he's a good grappler. He's a good striker, well-rounded guy. UFC talent for sure. I mean, if a guy like Manolo Zucchini is UFC level talent, I would think David Mgoyan's UFC level talent. Albert Morales, he had a stint in the UFC. He went 1-4 there. Um, I forget who he beat. He beat some. I think it's like some Kazakhstani guy, something like that. But yeah, but then he went 1-4-1 in the UFC. He got cut from the UFC. After that, he strung together some wins. Hold on, let me think. Is it another guy in this card that I'm thinking about? Yeah, no, it's him. Albert Morales. Yeah, he has the last time he's been finished. I think is 2021. He got submitted by Patchy Mix or something, which isn't that bad considering Patchy Mix was better in his Bellator days, and not as much of a I guess you could say a standing duck as he is currently on the feet. Getting knocked out and rising. What are we doing, Patchy Mix? But anyways, I think that this is quite the easy fight for David Mgoyan here, and I think that he will win probably by submission. Considering this guy does get submitted a lot, I would say David Mgoyan wins this fight by submission, probably a guillotine, maybe a Darce. I would bet on guillotine. These kind of these lower level fights, like these lower level fighters, they do seem to tap to guillotines and get themselves in a guillotine type position and kind of panic escaping it. So I think that David Mgoyan is probably going to tap out Albert Morales with the guillotine. And yeah, we move on to the next one. Jason Jackson versus. I thought this guy's name was Jack. Hold on. I have an itch in my nose. Um, yeah. So Jason Jackson versus Jefferson Creighton. Jason Jackson's good. This is actually the one guy that has beaten Yaroslav Amosov, and it was a nasty knockout. Stiffened him like a board. He stiffened Yaroslav Amosov, and he's been very good on the regional scene. The only two guys that he's lost to in recent memory at Bellator have been two guys that are undefeated. Some guy with a name I don't even want to pronounce, and he's 14-0. I'm pretty sure he's very good. I think he's a Dagestani guy. He's one of the striker Dagestani guys. Because they've been producing a lot of them recently since the game of MMA has been evolving. As we can see, only one grappler is a champion now. Haha. But anyways, yeah, and Jason Jackson lost a split decision to another guy who was undefeated. I think like 10-0, something like that. But yeah, I mean, those are the only guys that Jason Jackson has lost to in recent memory. I know Jason Jackson might be a little bit of an unk. I think he's 36 years old. He's never fought in the UFC, I'm pretty sure, but he is still good. Jefferson Creighton, he's fought now. Undefeated in both LFA and Bellator. 1-0, I think 1-0 in Bellator, 2-0 in LFA. And I mean, yeah, he's pretty decent, but he's had experience against like way worse competition than Jason Jackson over here has had. Jason Jackson, he has really solid level wins. He's a great fighter, and he's definitely UFC talent. Whereas Jefferson Creighton is not so much UFC talent. He's kind of, he's got wins over lower level guys, and he usually decisions them. He has been knocked out once, and yeah, I think Jason Jackson wins this one. I think I'm gonna say by knockout. I think Jason Jackson will. I think he'll find the shot at the end of the first round and he'll sleep Jefferson Creighton. I got Jason Jackson winning this one by KO in the first round. We move on to the next one. Adriano Moraes versus Fumi. Oh, hold on. Fumi Nkuta. Fumi Nkuta, he did take this fight on short notice considering Muhammad Makayev had some visa issues, so he pulled out of the fight. Fumi Nkuta, I know he's undefeated, but I'm pretty sure this guy's mainly a grappler. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, it's not gonna show any of the stats here. But I did see one of this guy's fights. He is mainly a grappler, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, he's taken this one on very short notice. Adriano Moraes, he's had a full training camp. I know he is also quite nunk. I think he's 38, Adriano Moraes is. But Adriano Moraes, he's had wins in recent memory. The only guys he's lost to recently is I think his name's like Yuya Wakamatsu, something like that. And yeah, that Yuya dude he's in one championship. Obviously Adriano Moraes, if you know him, he fights over in one championship, and he's a very good fighter over there. He's lost to DJ twice. and he's beat him once, but that was, let's be honest, that's because, DJ didn't know the rules. He didn't know he could get kneed in the head on the ground. Uh, but yeah, I mean, Adriano Moraes, he beat DJ by knockout. And yeah, I mean, Adriano Moraes, he's a great fighter. He's got great striking. He's well-rounded. He's got good grappling. And I wouldn't say the best grappling, but definitely pretty decent on the ground. Uh, so yeah, I think he'll be able to defensively put up with Fumi Nkuta's wrestling, and yeah, I mean, I think he'll just be able to outdog and outsize. He's got a pretty big size advantage, 3 inches in height, 5 inches in reach. I think that he'll give Fumi Nkuta his first ever L. And yeah, I mean, this is a tough fight for Fumi Nkuta to be taking on. In Adriano Moraes, this is his best competition so far by absolutely like by miles. By yes, so many. But this is Fumi Nkuta's toughest test by a long stretch. So yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see how he does. But I think that Adriano Moraes will probably handle him in this one. I'd say a dominant decision. I'd say this is going to be a 30-27 dominant decision. Yeah, Adriano Moraes is just going to piece him up and defend the grappling, probably do decent for himself in the offensive grappling category. But yeah, we move on to Namo Fazil versus Jake Babian. Jake Babian, he lost his only fight by KO. And then yeah, Namo Fazil, he's a very good grappler, very very well rounded, good striker. I think his most recent finish, he colded someone with a left hook, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Namo Fazil, I'm pretty sure this guy's like from Iraq or something, and he's very good. Namo Fazil is very good, probably UFC talent in the future. He's a big guy. He's 6'1". Pretty decently sized guy for welterweight. And yeah, he's got a good frame on him. And I mean, yeah, this guy's fights. He's entered. I think he has 7 finishes. So 7 finishes out of his 9 wins. And yeah, this guy's entertaining. I think he's better than Jake Babian by a good stretch. So yeah, I would expect a pretty dominant performance here from Namo Fazil. I think that he'll knock out Jake Babian. I think that yeah, Namo Fazil is going to get the finish here. I would say a late round 2 TKO stoppage here for Namo Fazil. I think that'll mix in the grappling in the first round. He'll mix in the grappling in the second round too, get Jake Babian to drop his hands a little bit, and then he'll find the KO probably by a left hook, maybe an uppercut or something. I could see him finding the chin of Jake Babian. I don't know much about these fighters. Like I don't know much about these fighters, but I know enough just based on the little amount of fights that I've watched and the tape that I've studied that I can, I can kind of feel out where the fight's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that Namo Fazil is gonna win this one pretty handily. Round 2 TKO is my prediction. We move on to the main card. JDS is back and he's facing Rebellis Despaigne. And I know, wait, hold on. Yeah, there we go. And I know JDS, he was on I think a 4-fight losing streak leaving the UFC. Yeah, JDS, but the thing about JDS is he has strung together some wins recently. He's strung together wins against Fabricio Verdum and Alan Betcher. And I know it's in MMA, it's in bare knuckle, but it is MMA bare knuckle. And pretty recently, so like less than 2 years ago, he fought that Alan Belcher dude, and he beat him in bare knuckle MMA. And I know he's 42, but the guy on the other side is Rebellis Despaigne, and I know he's big, but he lost to Austin Lane. So that's probably gonna be my reason for picking JDS here, because I am gonna pick JDS by decision in this one. I think that JDS will win a decision over Rebellis Despaigne. I don't think he'll get the finish. But Rebellis Despaigne, he lost to Austin Lane, and if you know Austin Lane, you know how chinny he is. He's kind of just out there. He's out there to get KO'd. He got knocked out by Iwo Baranowski in his light heavyweight debut, a guy who's 6 inches shorter than him. And I know Iwo Baranowski has that Polish power, but a guy who's 6 inches shorter than you, I mean, and like not even as big as you on a physical level too. So like he got chinned pretty badly. Yeah, he got chinned out, absolutely out cold, stiffened like a board by Iwo Baranowski. Did Austin Lane, and that's who beat Rebellis Despaigne by decision in the UFC. And Rebellis Despaigne, he was I think 1-2 in the UFC, something like that. And he's he's not a very good fighter, and I would expect JDS to do his work and craft up a decision win against Rebels Despaigne. I mean, yeah, I think JDS, I think Junior Dos Santos, I think he gets this one done by decision. And yeah, we move on to Salahoin. I think that's Saladin. Saladin, never mind. I thought that was an O. Saladin Parnasse versus Kenneth Cross. And I mean, yeah, Saladin Parnasse, he's pretty good. He's 22-2. He's fought more recently than Kenneth Cross. You know, Kenneth Cross, he had a fight on Dana White's Contender Series, and he won the fight, but it was in 2020. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a guy like he hasn't been as active as Saladin Parnasse, and Saladin Parnasse, he fought in, I think it's like, I forgot what it's called. It's like LQC. I forgot what it was called. LFX. Yeah, I think it's LFX. I think it's called like LFX or something. It's a Polish fight promotion though, and a few UFC fighters have come out of it. And Saladin Parnasse has been the champion in the lightweight division of that promotion for a while. And yeah, he's been active. He's a pretty good striker, pretty well rounded actually. Good takedown defense. And Kenneth Cross, you know, I don't know much about this guy, but he looks like the type of guy that'll mix in a few good takedowns on you. I know he's American, so he probably might mix in a little bit of that run you over with the double leg type American wrestling. But I mean, yeah, I think Saladin Parnasse, you know, he's been more active. He's never been finished before, so I don't like if you're not gonna finish this guy, I don't think you're gonna beat him. Even though you know he's never been finished before, I just have a feeling that you know if this guy's not gonna finish him, then he's not gonna beat him. You know, based on the build, he looks like kind of like a Michael Chandler type of like squirrel fight IQ, like just go out there and wing it and you know try to see if you can get the finish. But yeah, I mean, regardless, I don't see Kenneth Cross winning this. I got Saladin Parnasse. And yeah, we move on to the co-main event. I don't know how they're doing this over here at MVP, but yeah, we got Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. And I'm going to pick Nate Diaz. I'm going to pick Nate Diaz. I think Nate Diaz is going to win this one. He's had a more recent MMA fight than Mike Perry has. Mike Perry's just been on these side quests where he's just been, you know, bare knuckle boxing, you know, boxing match with, I think, who'd he box? It wasn't Jose Aldo, Jose Aldo was another guy. That was Jeremy Stevens. Who did Mike Perry have a boxing match with? Hold on, I'm gonna look at Tapology. Who did Mike Perry? Because Mike Perry's had some boxing matches. He did box Jake Paul. I knew that. Eddie Alvarez, MVP. Oh no, that's bare knuckle. But yeah, he's basically just been on like this bare knuckle boxing tear, where he's just been you know unking it up in there, you know crafting his way to some TKO wins. But yeah, I mean Mike Perry is a badass dude in bare knuckle boxing though. I'm not even lying. Mike Perry is a badass dude in bare knuckle boxing. But you know this isn't boxing. And Nate Diaz, you know like Mike. When was the last time Mike Perry's done any grappling? That's what I'm like. When was the last time that Mike Perry's actually done any grappling? And what I know for sure is that Nate Diaz has been doing more grappling and training the grappling than Mike Perry has. So, and I mean, he submitted Tony Ferguson in round 4 of his most recent MMA fight, which was 4 years ago. So that's not that long of a time ago. Nate Diaz isn't that far out from his last MMA fight. I know he's 41 and Mike Perry's 34. So there is a difference in age and there's a difference in athleticism, but I still think that Nate Diaz is gonna unk it up out there, and I think he's gonna craft out. I think he's gonna submit Mike Perry. I think that you know he's gonna gas out Mike Perry. You know he's gonna do his Nate Diaz thing where he just takes the shots from you, until you can't hit him anymore. And I think that he's gonna do his Nate Diaz thing. I don't think that Mike Perry's gonna knock him out. I think that Nate Diaz will eventually have Mike Perry in a position on the ground where he'll submit him with a guillotine. I think that it's either going to be a rear naked choke or guillotine for Nate Diaz, something simple, and I think that'll jump a guillotine, and Mike Perry's not going to like it because he has some big grappling, and he might just have to discomfort, and it might not even be a good guillotine, but I think Nate Diaz will win this fight by submission. And yeah, we move on to the co-main event, I guess the other co-main event, and that is Francis Ngannou versus Felipe Lins. Now, Felipe Lins has had some UFC fights, but they've all been at, I think, at either middleweight or light heavyweight, I'm pretty sure. and he is fighting heavyweight in this one. He is noticeably a lot smaller than Francis Ngannou here. 83 inch reach does Francis Ngannou have, and 2 inch height advantage, not that bad. There's a pretty big build difference, and I know you can't see it that well in this picture, but there is a pretty big difference in builds here. Big size discrepancy, a pretty big reach discrepancy, considering how much better of a striker Francis Ngannou is than Felipe Lins. And Francis Ngannou, people forget, man, he does mix in the grappling well as well, but I don't think he'll need to mix in the grappling for this one. I think that this is just going to be like Felipe Lin's going to go out there, probably cower on the feet. He doesn't seem like he's in the right mental frame at these press conference. I think he knows that he's there just kind of to be a sacrificial lamb, sadly enough. And yeah, I mean, I think that this is like an Ozzy Diaz type of sacrificial lamb that we have here in Felipe Lins. Probably even definitely at a larger scale than Ozzy Diaz was, considering this is the real Francis Ngannou and not a Tepa Gautier baby Francis Ngannou. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that this is going to be a pretty easy win here for Francis Ngannou. I think that he's going to get this one done by I think a 1 minute KO in round one. I think that this is going to be very quick. Yeah, this is going to be the shortest fight on the card. I think Francis Ngannou is just going to pour it on early with Felipe Lins. I think that Felipe Lins is going to start kind of submissive and backing up. He's going to try to work off the back foot. He's kind of going to be like Uncle Ive in the second Pereira fight, just submissively backing up, maybe trying some body kicks or something, but it's just not going to be enough. Maybe Francis Ngannou double eggs him and just ground and pound TKOs him. That could happen as well. But I think that this is just going to be a very quick fight, regardless of how he gets it done. Francis Ngannou gets this done by a early round one TKO. And yeah, we move on to the main event. I mean, I don't know why this is the main event. Like, I mean, you could have either of these as the main event, and I think it would make more sense. But the main event is Ronda Rousey coming off like a 10-year layoff versus Gina Carano coming off a 17-year layoff. Gina Carano hasn't fought in MMA since I was like not a newborn, but since I was like I don't even know how old. I was like a toddler, like less than a toddler was the last time that Gina Carano fought, and I don't know why she's coming back. The only time that Gina Carano has faced real competition was in Strikeforce when she fought Chris Cyborg, and she lost round one KO pretty easily for Chris Cyborg. And I mean, yeah, she never really fought real competition. She is 44 years old, so I don't know why she's deciding to make a comeback to MMA now. Ronda Rousey, she's fought real competition in women's MMA back in the day. Miesha Tate, she beat Miesha Tate. I mean, I don't really know who else. I'm not an expert on women's MMA, but she did lose. She lost two in a row to Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, both by KO. Both pretty badly by KO. She went on like the Ellen show and cried, and yeah, and then after that she went on like media silence, and now she's coming back and she's main eventing this MVP card. Yeah, I mean, good turnaround from her. Good for her, but I think that she's gonna pretty easily win this fight. I think that Ronda Rousey's gonna pretty easily win this fight. Yeah, and I think that she'll probably lock up like a round two submission, probably an armbar here from Ronda Rousey. I see like a round one, round two submission. I think that she'll make relatively easy work for Gina Carano because Gina Carano, she spent a very long time. I think yeah, Gina Carano spent 17 years out of competition in MMA, and yeah, I mean I think that this is gonna be easy work for Ronda Rousey. Should be a TKO submission, whatever she can do. This should be a finish from Ronda Rousey, and if it isn't, she better not be competing in MMA ever again. I mean, I'm just gonna say that goes without saying. But yeah, I mean, Gina Carano, I might be slandering her a little bit here. She's hot. Please give me a chance, Gina Carano. But regardless, um, yeah, Ronda Rousey's gonna get it done. If you're listening, Gina Carano, give me a chance, please. But yeah, Ronda Rousey's gonna get this one done by submission. Um, hopefully Gina Carano can get this one done. I would rather have Gina Carano win this, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen unless Ronda Rousey's just like insanely washed and I don't know. I don't see a world where Gina Carano wins this. Talking logistically. But yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be funny if she just had like some plot armor after being out for 17 years? So, that would be interesting. But anyways, I think that Ronda Rousey probably gets this one done by a late round one or early round two. Not early round two. I'd say probably a late round two armbar. That's my final prediction. Late round two armbar submission for Ronda Rousey. And yeah, give me a chance, Gina Carano. Yeah, and that's what I think about the MVP card. Going over my picks, I got Ronda Rousey, Ngannou, Nate Diaz, Parnasse, JDS, Namo Fazil, basically all the guys on the right side. Adriano Moraes, Jason Jackson, David Mgoyan, Alex Perez's sister, and then only pick on the right side of the screen is Brandon Jenkins. So yeah, those are my picks for the MVP card. I'll be interested to see how this one looks. And yeah, we're gonna watch this one on live stream on Saturday. Like and subscribe, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna do my UFC predictions probably tomorrow or Thursday. I would say, yeah, I think I'm gonna get the UFC predictions out for you guys by Thursday for sure. Tomorrow we might have another different unrelated video coming. But yeah, like and subscribe, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.